Alexa, please answer your phone right now. Are you really messing around with me right now of all times? Where did you run off to after that? Stop screwing around, Alexa! Huh? What do you think I'm screwing around about right now? I'm really sleepy at the moment is all. I just took a wrong turn on my way home and ended up at my parents' place. And I just never expected that you guys would be here right now. That's not at all what's going on here. Just answer your phone right now, please, so we can talk this out instead of having to text. We're at the hospital right now and need to talk. So please answer the phone and let's talk before you have to come out here to see us. What? Why should I have to go all the way out to the hospital to see you right now? That's a real pain in my ass, honestly. I'm not the one who's hurt or sick at the moment. Honestly, Alexa, would you please cut it out with that childish behavior right now and get real with me? Do you have any idea what you just did at all? Before the police and the ambulance had to come out to the scene, you should have been coming over to at least see if things were okay and apologize, right? Huh? The police? In an ambulance? What did the police and that ambulance have to do with me? Why are you guys at the hospital right now? I can't believe this. So you're still drunk right now then? Well, if you were never able to realize this, you went and hit my son with your car. Does that help you recall any memories or anything? Do you think things will end well for you right after you've gone and done something like that in your inebriated state? At the very least, you should be coming out to the hospital right now and apologizing to both my son and I. Why are you getting so upset with me right now? You say that like I hit the kid on purpose, when in reality it was all just an accident, right? All I did was hit the fella a little bit too hard with my bumper. So would you please stop trying to blow everything out of proportion over there? Did you never realize that an ambulance had to literally come and take us to the hospital right after what you did? None of this is just a hoax by me, because he literally had to come to the ER unit here because of the condition you left him in. Did you not realize just how badly he was hurt before you ran off? And when you drove off, I could tell that you were drunk behind that wheel. I can't believe you'd hit a kid with your car, all because you're drunk driving. And he happens to be your nephew as well. There is no way something like this could have happened, and you're still not apologizing for any of it. How much more pissed off are you going to get with me? I'm really sleepy right now, and I think for right now, I am going to catch some sleep. And perhaps if I'm feeling up to it tomorrow, I'll come out to the hospital and say hi. But that's only if I'm feeling up to it. Huh? So you don't even feel sorry for what you've done to him? What the hell, Alexa? What kind of frickin' nerves do you have to be talking to me like this after what you've done? This is your little brother's son you hit, and yet you don't even feel bad about it? Right now, we're all in a panic after what happened and are seriously worried about how our son is going to recover from this. All right. I get it already. How about you take a second to calm down over there? Right now, I am very sleepy and need to get to sleep. See you later. No freaking way. I can't believe the nerve you have to be doing this right now. I am not going to forgive you for what you've done to your own family today.
I'm on my way out there right now, Chaya. It shouldn't be too much longer before I arrive. How's Cam doing? What happened to him wasn't life-threatening, was it?
Okay, he's not in any life-threatening situation anymore, but he has quite a few broken bones and will have to undergo a few surgeries for them. He was screaming his eyes out, and any time I had to look over at him while he was being taken into the ambulance by the EMTs, I couldn't bear it. I feel so bad for our little boy.
Why the hell did something like this happen to him? I know we just called and all, but I forgot to ask you about that. You were back at my parents' house, right?
I was there at the house, but Cam had fallen asleep, and so I thought it was time for us to start making our way back home. And when I put him out in the car, he woke up and wanted to get out for a little bit. And as he stepped out of the car to run off his energy, he was hit by a car.
And the car that went and hit him was my sister's car, right?
That's right. That left him in a terrible state. I freaked out at the sight of it, and before I even went over to see how he was doing, I called 911.
How about my sister then? Why was she rushing back to our parents' house like that out of nowhere? And what was she doing driving through the yard to park her car at the house? She's never driven that crazily before whenever I've been around her.
Jonas, your sister was drunk when she was behind the wheel of her car.
What? Are you sure that she was really drunk when she came and hit Cam like that?
I am not going to forgive her for what she's done this time. She never even bothered to come and see either one of us to apologize and instead raced into your parents' house after she got out of her car. She fell asleep soon after that, and I haven't been able to get anything else from her since. You really think we're going to be able to forgive her after she pulled something as reckless and deadly as that? I'm not even going to forgive her for being your family, Jonas.
I know that.
What?
You really think that either one of us are going to forgive her for hitting our kid while under the influence? Just because she's my older sister? Not happening. I'll be at the hospital really soon here, so once I'm there with you, let's talk about what to do next.
Understood. I'll be waiting for you in the waiting room. When you're here, give me a call to let me know.
Sure thing.
Yeah, I slept so well last night. By the way, what all happened there last night? I can see a ton of calls came from you on my phone, so what's all of that about? Did something really happen that required you to call me 27 times like that without leaving any voicemails? Jesus. Are you saying you don't even remember a thing about what all went down last night? There is no way that can be the case, even for you, Alexa. If you really don't remember anything about all the horrible things you did last night before running away from everyone, well then allow me to refresh your memory on all of it right now, please. What the hell? Are you really that upset about me slightly hitting that little brat last night? Huh? You shouldn't be getting that upset with me over hitting your little brat like that. If he's still breathing, then what's the big problem between you and I? And it's not like any of the injuries he had last night could have been anything major, right? Are you really Cam's aunt if you're saying things like that about him right now? There has to be a limit to how insane you must be calling your own nephew a brat like that and saying that hitting him with your car was nothing. If you're really going to be calling me, of all people, insane, then that must mean you're even more crazy than I am. What the hell do you think you're saying to your older sister-in-law right now? You cut it out thinking you have the right to talk to me like that. I am so done with this. So you really don't care at all about what you did last night? Had you actually wanted to apologize to us for what you'd done, I might spend a bit more time thinking on this. But there is nothing left for me to think about now, and I will not be forgiving you for what you've done. My son is going to have to stay in this hospital for 2 months now getting treated because of you. You have to agree that there is no way for me to forgive you now after that. Why do you keep on running your mouth about that? You're not going to forgive me, huh? How friggin' hilarious can you be? Are you really saying that you can do something to me after that? Tell me, what can you actually do to me that might get me to shiver in my shoes? You were literally drunk driving, and you're going to say something as cocky as that? I'm past the point of being fed up with you now, seeing that you don't even feel bad for what you've done one bit. And if you're thinking of talking with the police about all of this, that's not going to work for you. Huh? After all you've done within the past 24 hours, you think that you can keep on running away from it? I can't believe you'd hit a kid with your car all because you were drunk driving. No matter what I've done, it's never going to end with me being criminally charged in any way. That's too bad for you guys now, isn't it? There's no way you're free from all punishment after what you've pulled. Do you really think that everything just revolves around you? Just because I hit your brat a little, don't have a whole temper tantrum. My husband's the sheriff, which means that he'll just cover all this up, and there will be no way for you to prove me guilty. And my father is the superintendent of the Metropolitan Police Department. What? Excuse me? What are you going on about? What do you mean that your father is the superintendent of the Metropolitan Police? You have to realize that you can't just call your father something as respectable as that. I'm not trying to throw a title like that around to scare you, but I am also not lying to you about who he is. I have no plans of letting you get away with what you've done to my son, and I made sure to tell my dad everything already. Huh? Are you being serious right now? Alexis, something tells me this wasn't your first time doing something like this, right? Are you sure you haven't been abusing your husband's power in order to make sure that any charges or cases against you were dropped? If that's really what you've been doing, then it won't only be you who gets in trouble if things are exposed. Your husband will be in the same place you are, right? Hold on. What are you actually going on about right now? There's no way anyone is going to find out about all of this. I don't even think anything you're talking about right now has happened before. I have no memory. I happen to be pretty forgetful when it comes to things of the past, after all. And as for your father actually being the superintendent, that was just a joke, right? You think I'm telling any jokes at a time as serious as this? Do you really think you can just get the sheriff to just drop whatever it was you've done? The fact that you even think something like that can always work for you is a major problem. I've already spoken with my dad about this, and he's already working on dealing with the both of you. Huh? You didn't actually tell him about everything, did you? So, does this really mean that your father is the superintendent of the Metro Police? Did you always have someone in your family that important? I never really talked about the kind of work my dad does. A lot of times, my family likes to think it's a pain to have to talk with everyone about who my dad is and such, so we just keep our mouths shut about him. So it's nothing out of the normal for you to have not been aware of who he is either. But what I've told you about him is the truth, and now you're most definitely going to be placed under arrest. And the same thing's going to happen with your husband. Wait. Isn't this all a little bit strange? Calm down over there, Shea. What is all of this? What are you actually talking about right now? Did you really just say that my husband and I are going to be placed under arrest? What do you mean by that? Tell me when I ever did anything that requires me to be taken away by the police. What? You're asking me something like that right now? You just went and hit someone's kid last night while drunk driving, and then told me you were going to exploit your husband's rank in the police to get away with it. Saying something like that now about what you've done is so crazy that I have nothing to say about it, actually. Now, please take the time to really think about all you've done and reflect on it a bit. Wait a second. I get it now. You're really, really upset at me for what happened, but I'll apologize to you for it. That should be enough for you, right? Huh? I'm really sorry. I feel really bad now for what I've done. I never meant to cause any harm to the little fella. I was being very careless at the time. I forgot about how much I had to drink, and then I got in the car without having anyone come and stop me. I really caused a lot of trouble for your little guy. Is Cam going to be all right? But I still happen to be a part of his family. Can we just get past all of this as a family and not have to involve anyone else? Seriously? You're joking right now, correct? What do you mean by calling this a joke? I'm being completely serious right now about having felt really bad for you guys. I've learned my lesson even. Yesterday I was in such disbelief over what I'd done when I'd come home, and that kept me up all night long. I really didn't get any sleep last night thinking about him. But at the beginning of this conversation you said you slept really well, didn't you? I was just trying to act tough. In reality, I never slept at all because I was so worried. But I didn't want to have you seeing how worried I've been, so I tried to act tough. I'm really sorry, okay? You can understand that, right? Come on. Now you're trying way too hard. What the hell just happened to you there? Did you really think acting like that was going to fool me any? What? Don't tell me, Shea, that after your sister-in-law went through saying all of that to you, you're not going to forgive her still? That would be very narrow-minded of you, right? If you keep acting that narrow-minded after what happened, then you're going to start making Jonas hate you. You'll become hated by my parents as well, and then you might have to go through a really painful divorce, all right? Don't worry about that, because all of them are on my side right now. What? What do you mean they're all on your side? They're all my family, though, right? What you did, my husband ended up seeing with his own eyes. Have you still not realized just how upset he is with you now? What? Is that the reason why I have all these calls from him, too? Now things are really becoming a pain for me. I never knew that he was around when all that happened, too. But him being there has nothing to do with me. Him and my parents are all my family, which means that they have to be on my side in all of this, until the very end. So if you don't want to be hated by all my family, you need to start being a bit more forgiving, and we can start by forgiving one another right now, okay? There is nothing I need your forgiveness for right now, though. Also, even if none of your family was on my side in all of this, I still have my dad, who is furious with you and your husband right now. And neither of us will ever be letting you get off the hook. You and your husband are finished. We're going to make you both pay for all the things you've done up until this moment. Wait a second, Shea. This can't be happening, right? I just apologized to you from the bottom of my heart, right? At least let me settle out of court with you, please. If you don't give us a little slack, both my husband and I will be in trouble. By the way, your father is the superintendent, right? Then perhaps you can talk with him and have all of this swept under the rug for us? Huh? Did you just completely forget about everything we just talked about there? You must be suffering from some serious dementia or something. Don't say something like that to me. You and I are family, right? If we were really family, then you would have never avoided us after hitting my son, and you would have never stayed away from the hospital, and you would have never said that you'd get your husband to cover all of this up. These are the reasons why I no longer think of you as my family. If you can understand that now, would you please screw off? Hey, you're talking too much. Also, no matter how much you happen to hate me, Jonas is still my brother, right? So even if you try, you'll never be able to cut ties to me. As family, why don't we just try to stay close? You would never want a member of your family being tried as a criminal, right? Jonas already told me that he no longer sees you as his older sister and that he never wants to see you again. What? Jonas said that? Well, of course he did. Cam isn't just my son, but Jonas's son as well, right? Jonas is really pissed off right now as well, and he said he will never be forgiving you. We already spoke with your parents, and they both have gone and cut ties to you as well now. Huh? None of them can do that to me. We're family, right? What the hell do they all think they're doing not helping a family member out when they're in a pinch? Do you understand, Shea? I am your family. No matter how hard you try and twist things, they won't bend. Thinking that you could ever be forgiven for hitting someone else's child while driving drunk is way beyond me. Are you really that much of an insect? I'm kind of enthused by how crazy you're behaving right now. I already knew that you'd try using your husband's position to have all of this covered up, but the fact that you actually tried to say that to me without a care in the world for what you'd done is just unbelievable. Both you and your husband are literal scum. But thankfully, I have no plans of ever talking to you guys again. Just take yourself to the police station right now and have them arrest you right there. And then you can watch as your husband has the same thing happen to him. Wait, Shea. We'd really be in heaps of trouble at that point. Help us. I'll apologize to Cam himself about what happened. I've told you many times already, haven't I? Apologizing right now is too late for you. I'm not even interested in talking with you now, so could you please stop? Now enjoy having to go to prison and being rehabilitated there. I hope you regret everything you've done while you rot there. I'm so sorry, Shea. I never meant to cause any harm. If nothing happens to save me, I'll really become a criminal. Save me. Tell the police to leave me alone and that I did nothing wrong. Wait, you're asking that now after you just went and tried to assault someone? You came at me carrying a knife of some sort, right? And that's why you were taken down right on the spot by the police. What did you think was going to happen? You're being a total dick right now. I was already disowned by both of my parents and my brother and have not gotten any help from anyone. My husband's been taken into custody by the police and is under investigation now and is going to have to hand over a lot of money for what happened as well. And because of that, he's now blaming me out of spite. I'm already having to go to court to be sued by you for driving drunk and hitting Cam on top of having to actually be charged for those crimes. Why am I the only one having to go through all this hell right now? Isn't this screwed up? All of this is because of you, Alexa. Are you really saying that right now? If that's the case, then perhaps it's time for you to open those eyes. What do you mean, open my eyes? I mean what I just said. Why are you blaming me for all of this? You can hate me all you want, but how about you begin to hate yourself now as well? My son and I are victims of your actions. Understand that? You literally hit my son with your car and have sent him to the hospital where he is going to have to stay now for 2 months. I have every right to want to sue you after that out of my anger. Yet for some reason you still don't seem to think you've done anything worth being sued over, right? But what? There are no buts anymore. All you're doing right now is trying to blame me for all the horrible choices you've made. And the reason your husband is being held in a jail cell right now while he's being investigated for his crimes is because of what you'd done and had him cover up. The reason your husband has to go through hell now is because of you. So it kind of makes sense for him and everyone else to be upset with you now, right? I mean, he's to blame as well for a lot of these things, considering he made the final choice as a sheriff to help cover up all your crimes. Who do you think you are talking to me like that? You don't know anything about me. I really don't, and I don't ever want to either. I mean, you literally came at me with a knife out of spite for the crimes you'd already committed, making you a criminal at heart. So of course I'd never even be able to understand you if I tried. Now that's all from me. Wait, what about the police? What was that? What about them? You think I'm going to ask them to let you get away? I want them to take you away so that you'll have a very long time to regret what you've done, and maybe even learn to be a decent member of society again. Everything you've done is not only illegal, but felonies to the highest degree. You should understand all of that without even having to listen to me tell you, right? Your family and my son are all saddened by the person you've turned out to be. And when it comes to myself, I'm sad as well, but I'm also very upset. What? So that's why my family isn't helping me right now? They all believe that this is my fault? Are you starting to finally get things now? You've been acting like a selfish prick for the longest time now, and all that selfishness is finally coming back to bite you in the ass. I think you really need to start taking responsibility for all of that now. Jonas is praying that you learn from what you've done. He doesn't want to see his older sister turning out the way you've been. And as for me, I never wanted to see my son ending up the way he did due to his own aunt's reckless actions. He's only 5, yet he's had to experience something that's left him immobilized in a hospital bed. It hurts me deeply to see him that way. Is that so? I'm really sorry, Shea. I don't know what I should be saying now. You don't have to say anything now. Just learn from your mistakes and change your life around, please. There were people that actually trusted and believed in you. So do it for them.
I just got a call from my mom not too long ago. My sister ended up getting a divorce from her husband.
Is that what happened between those two? Well, after all that's happened so far between those two now, I can understand why.
Are you happy with having them pay us that much in court settlements after that long battle for Cam? I'm sure not forgiving either one of them still, but something in your eyes said otherwise.
I'm not happy with everything yet, and sure have not forgiven Alexa. But seeing her and her now ex-husband paying up did make me realize she might actually be able to change. With that, I hope her time in prison will really give her a chance to change for the better and come out of there as a decent member of society someday.
My mom was saying that when Alexa called her from her jail cell the other night, she explained how sorry she really was, and that she'd take full responsibility by pleading guilty, which she thankfully did. I think that does show that Alexa will be willing to change her ways in prison to make up for what she'd done. I'll just have to see how long that actually takes her.
Really, I'm just happy that Cam is starting to heal up really well now after his surgeries, and that he'll be able to properly play outside again soon. And in all honesty, he doesn't seem to be traumatized after all of that.
Alexa said that she'd someday like to come and apologize to Cam. But my dad told her it's better to never come around the 3 of us again. Which makes sense considering all she'd done. At least we have all that money we'd won from her now. It really makes you wonder if she was ever thinking about the rest of us like family. I'm sure she does now after all that's gone down. But it's too late for her there, right?
That's right. I just pray now that when she does get released, she can find a life of her own someplace else and never come back to us. It hurts me to have to say this, but perhaps her drunk driving and almost killing our son was that kind of help that she needed to help break her out of that crippling selfishness. But the outcome to all of this is really going to be up to her now. After all that had happened, Alexa ended up being sentenced to 15 years in prison for her crimes of driving under the influence and almost killing my son with her car. And that was after having to pay my husband and I a settlement of $150,000 for our son. She was also given another 5 years for attempted murder after coming at me with that knife before the police stopped her about 6 feet away from me. Nobody in the family is ever going to forgive her for what she'd done, and that emotion will carry on even after she's out of the prison and walking the streets again. But one thing is for sure, and that is that she is well aware of that now, and will hopefully use that shame and regret to fix herself for everyone's sake. She may never be able to come back to her original family ever again, but I'm hoping that she'll make a new family of her own later in life. or at least be able to return to life without falling back into the rut of selfishness she'd been in around us. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.